demonstrate today, which are projects have gotten much easier this semester using Android Studio Emulator. There was great suffering in previous semesters making that stuff like Genymotion and BlueStacks work, but now I'm using Android Studio and they've gotten easy. So I just want to demonstrate M200 and M207, which are due in a couple of weeks. By the way, originally, I should explain the difference between these M200, M201, and M203. This is the part that I don't like, that is unnecessarily confusing, but there are many different possible setups you could have. So M200 is here, and M201 and 203 are doing it with the old emulators, Nox and Genymotion and BlueStacks. So you can do that if you've got those ones working, and that's fine, but I don't recommend even doing that unless you're already started down that path. Just use Android Studio. That's why these NEOS sections with Android Studio are the ones I'm hoping I can get all the projects just using Android Studio and just forget about those other emulators, because they're all pretty messed up in the networking and they lead to trouble. Anyway, so this part, you just want to get ADB working with Android Studio. So let me get my Android Studio running. All right. This is incredibly easy, and the original way I did it, you would have a Linux virtual machine, a Kali virtual machine, that you're using to run ADB, but you don't even need that. If you have Android Studio, it is ridiculously easy. What you do is you start your emulator, and here it is launching. Okay, I'll just go to the home page for now. All right, so there's my emulator. Now, Android Studio automatically loaded the platform tools on my hard drive of the host operating system. All you have to do is click Tools, SDK Manager. And here is where it put them, Android SDK location. This path, and this will work on Windows too, that path will tell you where these tools are. So all you have to do is now open a terminal or command prompt on a Windows machine and go there. And now that you're there, if you look at what's there, you'll find this folder called Platform Tools. So you go in there, and in here is ADB. And this help message just tells you that ADB is working. And all you have to do, if you're running this emulator, it automatically connects to it. So you can do ADB devices, and there's your device. I'm running the emulator, and it's already there. You can just do ADB Shell. And now you have a shell on the Android device. This is ridiculously easy. If you have those other emulators, you have to change the networking mode, type in IP addresses, connect, go to bridge mode. Spend most of your time debugging the networking to get from one to the other. And with Android Studio, it's all just connected right there. So that's, believe it or not, that's it for A200. This used to be a big job. Now it is a relatively easy job if you use this to connect to that emulator with ADB. And once you're in there, you just execute a command to show that you're in. So now you can control it with Android Debug Bridge, which is the main tool we're going to use for everything. That is your main tool to control your Android device. By the way, some of those emulators, you have to go into the settings and enable USB debugging, but it seems to be on automatically in Android Studio. I didn't change anything, and it just let me in. So Android Studio rocks. Now then we can try this one, which is a lot of fun. This was I'd actually used this app. A lot of people used this app, and it turned out it was kind of unbelievable. This app was Explorer. Android doesn't give you a file explorer like you have in Windows or Finder in the Mac. There's no way to explore the file system and find files, so you'd install an app, and this is one of the popular apps, and people were using it for years before anybody noticed. It's just exposing all your files to the whole world. And that's right. There was this thing called the fappening, where they got all these pictures of naked actresses like Scarlett Johansson and all these others, and they never knew how they got them. And they never did come out how they got them, but I wondered if it was Android phones, they could have got them from this, and if it was iPhones, they probably got it by phishing their iCloud. But anyway, they got a whole bunch of pictures of naked celebrities. Anyway, this is pretty amazing. So if you've installed this app, and I have the old version here, of course they patched it after it became known, so you can download the old version somewhere on this page. There, download it here and drag and drop it on your phone. So I've already installed it on my phone, and you have to run it. Here's ES File Explorer. So when you run it, it asks you to give it permissions to access the file system and go. So if this thing is running on your phone, all your files are being served up to everybody on the network without you knowing that. And it's not apparently intentional. And you can tell, if you just go into ADB Shell like this, you can do netstat minus pent. That'll show you listening ports. Now, if you do it by default, it will give you a whole bunch of error messages first for permission denied, and it'll also show you a lot of stuff besides listening ports. So to clean that up, you can do this, to dev null. That'll get rid of the error messages, and then you can grep it for listening. And that will only show you the lines that contain the word listen, and now you get a cleaner output, and it does show that this thing is listening on port 59777 for some ungodly reason. And you might wonder what it's serving up on port 5977, and the answer is not good. The answer is everything. Every file on your phone is just being served up to everybody on the network right there on that port. So that's bloody awesome. Now, I had a little trouble connecting to this network in here because the Android simulator is running in behind on a private network. And I can't get to it directly, but it turns out to not matter. You can forward a port with ADB. This is by far the easiest. There are some complicated ways to get around that, but this is the easiest way. You do this, ADB forward. This will take that one port I care about, 59777. I exit from here and I execute this command. This will take that port on the Android device 59777 and forward it to 5977 on my local machine, which is a Mac. So now I can get to it by going to 127.0.0.1, 5977 on my local Mac. That's ADB forwarding will continue until you restart ADB. So you can just curl, which is just sending a HTTP request with some parameters to this address, HTTP 127.0.0.1, which is my own machine, on 59777. And this is an API running for that app there, and it has various commands, and this command is get device info. So I can get that from my device, and it will tell me some stuff about my device, and then I can get all the pictures off the device. And by the way, I found out, this is pretty awesome, I can connect it to a camera. You can connect it to a physical camera. So let's do that. You can do it with Genymotion, and you can also do it with this emulator. You turn it off first, and then you go here into, I don't need to be there, I need to be here, there. You go into this pencil, I think. Yeah, I think it's the pencil, yeah. The pencil and advanced settings, there you go. And now you can choose the webcam. You have various choices, and I chose webcam 0, which just goes to the real webcam on my real Mac. And it may conflict with OBS, we'll see what happens. So now I should be able to take a picture through the webcam of my Android device. Let's see if it works. There comes my Android device. And if I go to the camera is here, well, it's working. So I can now take pictures. So I can take a picture, okay, and now I can steal that picture. Anybody on the network can steal your pictures. And you do it by just going to, since I turned off the device and turned it on again, I'm going to have to do this ADB, may have to do the ADB connect again. Control C, I don't know where I am. How about exit? All right. I got to do this whole thing again. Okay, CD library, Android, okay, SDK, platform tools, okay, ADB devices, good, it's working. Okay, now ADB, I just need to do that forward command then. Let's get that forward command. Because I think when I restarted the device, it forgot about this. And by the way, I think you can omit the // but it's probably better to have the / there. All right, now it's forwarding 59777 again. Now I can steal that image from the phone. I go down here, and this will get me the path to the image. This is called list pics. So there's my pics. There's one I took earlier, and there's one I took now. And now I can just get it by wgetting this. I get the path, so I can wget that. I forgot the HTTP. Oh, I need the address too. So I need to do HTTP 127.001.59.777. There we go. And so now I should be able to open that image on my host machine. So let me go to, oops, there we are, home, library. All right, it's annoying to do this way. I'm going to copy it somewhere I can find it easier. Let's move that image there to just my home folder. There, that should do it. And it should be there. I think that's it. And that is it. So that's the joy of everybody's Android phone. You could just take their pictures anytime. And it was that way for years before anybody noticed. So this is a part of the joy of this class. Android mobile apps are crap, and vulnerabilities, blatant, obvious vulnerabilities just sit around for years because people aren't auditing them. So learning how to do a basic audit for security is worth it. Let's see, I see some questions here. It means we can control the host machine. Well, with ADB you can, yeah. The camera, well, you can connect your phone to your camera, but all this one does is let you get the files with the File Explorer. Probably, you could take over the machine though, because you probably could upload files and overwrite system files and things like that. I haven't tried it. You certainly could get all the files off the device though, and that is the worst because most people care about their pictures and their SMSs and emails and stuff. That's mostly what they want to protect. So letting people see your files is actually a pretty serious flaw. I didn't hear about them getting sued or something, but it's a pretty awful way to do things. Anyway, that's the other app I wanted to show you, and I'm going to stop this recording.